Ever wonder what makes your favorite websites click, pop, and come to life? Well, chances are it's a language called JavaScript. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this super important piece of the web, and I promise you, by the end of this, you won't just get it, you'll have actually written your very first line of code.
So, why should you even care about JavaScript? Well, beyond the fact that it powers pretty much every modern website, it's also a massive career opportunity. Just look at this number. For developers in the US, the average salary is hanging around $72,000 a year. That alone is a pretty good reason to lean in and learn a little more, right?
And we're not talking about some obscure niche skill here. We're talking about the absolute giants. Companies you use every day, Netflix, Walmart, PayPal, they build their huge, complex applications using JavaScript. This is the engine running behind businesses you probably interact with constantly.
Okay, so what is it exactly? At its heart, JavaScript is the programming language that makes websites feel alive. Back in the day, it was just for little things like making a button change color. But now? Oh, now it's a whole different ballgame. You can build entire web and mobile applications, real-time chat services, you can even build games with it. It has grown up a lot.
All right, that's enough talk. You know the best way to learn something is to actually do it. So let's write our first line of JavaScript right now. And the best part? You don't need to download or install any fancy software to get started. No, seriously, you can do this as I'm talking. First, just open your web browser. Then, right-click anywhere on this page and choose Inspect. A new panel will pop up. In that panel, find the tab that says Console and click it. That little window you're looking at, that's a powerful JavaScript engine, and it's built right into the browser you're already using. Okay, you ready? In that console, I want you to type this line of code exactly as you see it. Console.log, hello world. Make sure you get all the punctuation right. The quotes, the parentheses, the semicolon. Got it? Now, hit enter. And boom, just like that, you did it. You should see the message, hello world, printed right back at you in the console. Seriously, congratulations. You are officially a programmer. See, it's really that easy to get started. But what did we actually just tell the computer to do?
Let's break down what just happened. To really understand code, you have to know about its most fundamental pieces, its building blocks, and we can use that Hello World example to figure it all out.
So one of the most important ideas in all of programming is something called a variable. Don't let the name scare you. Honestly, just think of it like a box. It's a container where you can store a piece of information. You put something in the box and you stick a label on it so you can find that exact box later. That's it.
So, what kind of stuff can you put in these boxes? Well, you can store a few basic types of data. A string is just a fancy word for text, like the hello world message you just made. A number is, well, it's a number, like 30. And a Boolean is super simple. It can only be one of two things, true or false. These are the absolute basics.
But what happens when things get a little more complex? I mean, what if you wanted to describe a person? They have a name, which is a string, and an age, which is a number. You wouldn't want to just have a bunch of separate, disconnected boxes for all that information, would you?
And that's exactly where objects come in. An object is basically a bigger container that's designed to hold related data. The best way to think about it is, well, a person. A person has properties, right? A name, an age, maybe an eye color. An object in JavaScript just groups all those related properties together into one neat little package.
And here's what that looks like in actual code. We can create a person object. Inside those curly braces, we define its properties. Name is the label, or the key, and mosh is the information, the value. Same thing for age. Age is the key, and 30 is the value. It's just a really clean and organized way to handle related data.
Okay, so we're starting to get what JavaScript is and some of its basic parts. But where does this code actually, run? The answer is pretty interesting, and it's changed a lot over the years. For a long time, JavaScript had only one home, the web browser. Every browser, whether it's Chrome or Firefox, has a JavaScript engine built in just to run this code. But then, in 2009, everything changed. A new technology called Node.js came out. It basically took Chrome's super-fast JavaScript engine and let developers run it outside of the browser, on a server. This was a total game changer, because for the first time ever, you could use the exact same language to build both the front end and the back end of an application. Now, you might be wondering, if JavaScript is running in all these different places, Chrome, Firefox, Node.js, how do we make sure it acts the same way everywhere?
Well, you need a standard. You need an official set of rules.
And that official rulebook is called ECMAScript. It's the technical specification for the language. A really simple way to think about it is that ECMAScript is the blueprint. All the different browser makers look at that blueprint to build their own JavaScript engines. And that's why the code you write for Chrome will also work in Firefox, because they're all building from the same set of rules.
And this language is always changing. The very first standard came out way back in 1997. Of course, 2009 was a huge year with Node.js taking JavaScript outside the browser. But probably the biggest recent change was in 2015 with a massive update called ES6 that added tons of powerful modern features. And now the language actually gets a new update every single year to keep it fresh.
So let's just take a step back and look at what we did. You went from knowing nothing to writing your very first line of actual code. You now get the core ideas of variables and objects, and you know where JavaScript fits into the big picture of the web. You've taken the first and honestly the most important step. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?